Hey, welcome everyone to Tech Bytes with Tech Scalable.
So now, when we have already looked into individual terminologies of monolithic and microservices, let's compare them and understand what's the difference between them from a working point of view. So developers, test engineers, the DevOps engineers, everyone works so hard to build the entire application. And with time, we are producing an output in the monolithic case, which grows day by day. And the system becomes complex. And it's the same piece of code which is changed every now and then. If you're implementing a new feature, the executable grows in size with time that we keep wondering how to manage it. So management of monolithic application becomes a challenge with time. And this bulky executable takes a lot of time in the startup, and it's very difficult to scale and keep the uptime. So what happens actually if we look into the continuous deployment process, we keep delivering and deploying, and with time, the deliverable which gets deployed in the end server has become bulky and has grown so much that even a single line of change needs the complete redeployment of the code. And it becomes a challenge to manage such type of application. If I'm changing a single line, it's impacting my entire system. If we think about microservices development, we are breaking down the functionality into multiple small mini type of application. And because each of the mini application gets deployed separately as containers, it makes our life simple. Whenever there is a change, only that specific module gets redeployed, rebuilt, or retested. So every specific microservice has its own CI/CD pipeline, and it's easier for our team to manage and work with such type of small mini applications. So if you think about monolithic versus microservices, monolithic's development is slower and it's painful to manage. If we want to implement agile process, if we want to adopt DevOps, it becomes highly impossible because the continuous integration and continuous deployment and delivery life cycle can't be implemented in such type of products. And with time, the complexity is so huge that a single person knowing in and out the entire system is almost impossible. And that's the reason we need people, those who are very good with the core of the architecture, understand the entire system, and there is a lot of dependency created with the architects. Application management becomes difficult because the scaling, the upgrading, updating an application, that becomes challenge with time because each time a single line of change asks for redeployment of the entire system. When we think about the complete process of managing the application, microservices gives us more benefits because development is faster. We are developing minimal viable product and we are deploying them as mini applications. So adapting agile way of working or DevOps life cycle becomes smoother. Complexity is reduced because every microservice has an isolated boundary and they can communicate with each other with just REST API calls. So they are like standalone mini applications, and their lifecycle management becomes easier because I can have a dedicated CI/CD pipeline for each of the microservices. And that shortens our lifecycle to manage and implement microservices. So this way, monolithic plus microservices, when you compare, you find that microservices has got more agility, more flexibility, and more adaptability to newer framework, newer ways of working. And that's the reason microservice way of architecting is one of the most adapted ways these days. We would be discussing about how to deploy these microservices in containers in our upcoming video, so stay tuned.